Good morning. Thank you for being here. Today is what is today? Is today Monday? Okay, I apologize. And so we're obviously coming off the big win on the road versus Toledo, and I'm going to be quick, but I couldn't be prouder. A tough first half on offense. Defense played solid, kept us in the game, and coaches got in there, made a few adjustments. It wasn't really, as far as an offense, wasn't a lot of adjustments. Hey, the moment, let's count the backwards from 10 and just get locked in and do what we do, and that's how it played out. And of course, again, you got two evenly matched teams and you have the turnovers, gets the score, what the score is, and I know that the turnover margin thing is, I keep saying, but in the month of November, we've been pretty good. And that's been the difference really in how things have transpired. But the team's effort in the second half was as dominating a performance that I can recall, in my time here. And to do it at Toledo, where we have had basically zero success, versus arguably the best program top to bottom in athletics in our conference for years, and I've been in this conference for 20 years. Pretty special. So that's my comments on Toledo. And then Ball State, we're glad to be at home. I've got to say this: Brooke and I are very excited about Pups at Peden is this Friday. Anybody that brings a can of dog food or a bag of dog food to Gate 2 will purchase tickets for your group. And this is the third annual for that. Brooke she says cats feeding dogs. So I really like cats feeding dogs as well, but we're excited about that. But the most important thing is, hey, we're defending Frank Solich Field. Got a chance to go undefeated at home for the first time for 2 out of the last 3 years. And we're playing in front of the best fans in our league the day after Thanksgiving. A lot to be thankful for. And I'm glad we're at home for our seniors and for this special year. And for those reasons, so a lot to play for. And I know, not just because it's Detroit, it's about Ball State and us playing our best for our fans for this game. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Coach Eric Tucker with the Athens Messenger. Obviously, as a competitor, the rivalries kind of get in the mix of all these games and all that, but especially game against Toledo, with the last one being the game in 22 in the MAC championship. Was there any sort of extra pleasure redemption in this one?
I mean, not really. We didn't really talk about it. We didn't talk about it to the team. And there's just really a handful of guys that was that's here for that game, right? I mean, not to go into that, but you guys know the numbers. There's a handful of guys. Jason's a really good friend of mine, and we talk quite a bit throughout the course of the year and in the off season, and how you handle this and how you handle that, and for him to have his team playing at the level year in and year out is remarkable. His record in our league is tops in the league. And so finally, as a head coach beating Toledo, I didn't talk about that either, but I read that somewhere, and it's a good win.
And then obviously you guys are still laser focused on Ball State coming up this week. But I do kind of want to note, around the internet and around social media, there were some kind of national media members throwing out sort of Tim Albin should be considered for National Coach of the Year sort of thing. I know
I missed that one.
as a competitor, obviously you think of the players on the field, but you're still a competitor even as a coach. What does that kind of recognition, I guess, mean to you, just in the small sense?
I haven't seen that, but as I told it to the team, I don't know, mid-season, maybe after the Buffalo game, I said, look, guys, there's a bullseye on our chest, and you've earned the bullseye. You earned that by success, and so we got a bullseye, all right, which is, you guys have heard me talk about. Let's moving targets, harder to hit. Let's keep that thing moving. And how do we do that? How we work. All right. And Coach Shue's got a message to the team about making that bullseye lighter, because we're carrying that around and it's moving, and how we make it lighter, organized, have a plan for academics. We're Hessing, to keep that bullseye lighter. Okay, so the success piece of this is going to bring, when you have success, you're going to have more guys on the first team all league than when you don't have success. There's years with players that were third team or didn't even get recognized, and they were, really, really good. And so when you have success, you have player of the year. You have defensive player of the year based on the success. There's coach of the year things when you have success. And that's part of the deal that comes with it. It's not anybody's motivation. You have to accept it because you're not going to make it go away. And say, well, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to comment on that. That's not the approach either, because we are built on transparency. All right. Telling them the truth, holding them accountable. So how can you do that and everything with all the players? And then someone asks a question about that. The truthful answer is that's part of the deal. And I'm not going to shy away from it. I don't pay attention to it. And it just comes with the deal.
Bobby Keegan with the Post. Coach, you guys haven't really been this close to going back to the MAC championship since 2022. Just how do you make sure that you guys still stay focused on Ball State and not think too far ahead?
Yeah, I think, you got to, I'm going to tell you to say the truth. This year's format and how we're doing it. No East and West. That's why we're still in it. Right? You in 2022, if we'd had that format in 2022, it would have been a rematch. The last game of the year was us and Bowling Green. Winner goes. We would have played it. We would have played them a week later. Because they had the best. They had the second best record. And we had the first, but the East thing and the West, it was us in Toledo. So fast forward to where we are right now. If it was East and West now, we'd be out of it. Because Miami's got one loss. We lost head to head. It doesn't matter what happens. So here we are. And gave two examples of how we are, where we are with this, and so I'm glad that the change came. It's more exciting for our fans. I think I've said that throughout the course of the season, and we're in a position to get there. But that's not our focus. We're not all the eggs aren't in the basket on that. It's defending Frank Stolich Field. It is playing our best game. Make it 20 quarters. We're at 16 now, and for our fans. And then, that's my take on it.
Marty Bannister, Ohio Radio. Are weeks like this any more difficult to prepare with a holiday slapped in the middle of it and then a big game coming up on Friday?
The last, I think 2 years, we've played before Thanksgiving, and now we're playing the Friday after, which we've done before. I think the last time we did it here was in 2018. Is it more difficult? And actually, no. I think I view this as a MACtion game because there's no class on Wednesday. There's no class on Thursday. So the kids are on their feet, going to class, and they're not as distracted, so you can kind of break up their day. You're controlling what they're eating and drinking a little bit more because you got them in the facility some. And I think it's a positive. I really do.
Does Ball State present a challenge, obviously, because of what
skill.
they can do, but it's a program in transition right now. Is that more of a worry with them?
Again, you look at their scores now. You look at their MAC scores. It's a 2-point win, 2-point loss, 3-point loss. The Buffalo game was unbelievable, incredible. Buffalo scored 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter to get to overtime and then lost it. They had a walk-off field goal to beat Northern. They could be easily 6-4, easy. All right, and if you count a 5-point loss, it could be 7. They could be like where Buffalo sits right now. It's a fact. And so it's going to be a challenge. They gave Bowling Green fits until the fourth quarter in this last game. Their offenses, they got great skill. The quarterback can throw, he gets the ball out, and they got a solid offensive line. I know defensively the numbers aren't great, but they're not. We're gonna have to play well against them.
Kind of adding on to that, as mentioned, kind of a program kind of in change with them right now. How does that impact scouting wise in terms of tendencies and kind of trying to predict what will go on?
Well, we had this last game, and I haven't seen the breakdown from the coordinators. Here's some tendencies before, and here's the Bowling Green. I have not seen that yet. I'm sure they're looking at it, but I should have mentioned this. Mike New, great man. He's a great man. I saw the news, immediately got a hold of him, and have since then invited him to come if he wants to come and see his team the last game. I invited him, come to the game. You can park at my spot, and you can watch it from my office with my wife. That's what I think of Mike New. He's an alumni there, A great man. I mean, is a great man. And so they're in transition. Yes. The gentleman that's in charge now is an alum like Mike. And so they'll be ready to play and wanting to win one for the Gipper type. He's got a lot of pride. I know the type of athletes that Mike has recruited there. They play hard, and we're going to have our hands full.
Coach, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Ball State's been in a lot of high-scoring games that have really come down to the last couple of plays of the game. Are you preparing your offense a little bit to be in a high-scoring game like that with the Ball State offense?
I'm not sure if we said it like that. We say it like, hey, we need to play at our best, and not start slow, and not take some of the pressure off the defense. But you're spot on. I don't know where they are in scoring. I don't have that on my sheet here, but they are capable of scoring points, and they do it through the air. They want to be balanced. So offensively, we're going to have to, execute.
And then looking back at the Toledo game, Caleb Gossett kind of shined out in his performance. Even before the Coleman injury, it kind of looked as if he was getting a couple targets and kind of getting more integrated in the offense. What have you just seen from him to kind of earn him those opportunities? And what did you think of him on Wednesday?
Very much like I talk about Roman's play and then Byron Pearson, how they practice. And Caleb has been practicing very well. It's just, we're a big 11 personnel team, and when we go 4 wide, take the tight end off, Caleb's the guy in, and so he has practiced very well. So Coach Smith has incorporated some things that, hey, he's if we get certain coverages, the ball's going to go to him, and we're fine with it because how he's practiced. And then of course the injury to Coleman, and we're 11 personnel. He's out there, and we're calling plays to win the game. And the coverage dictated this is where it goes. Max Rodarte, huge play over the middle, huge, great catch. All right, that's another guy's practiced well. Was slowed down with an injury early. We had the open week and then the 10-day window. He's gotten back. He's just now full speed. So he's in the mix now. And so, a long answer, but that's how we got to this point. And Caleb is delivered for sure against Toledo.
You talked about turnovers a moment ago, and so big at Toledo. You're capitalizing on opponents' mistakes now as a big part of the offense on Wednesday night. Ball State's doing the same thing. They've scored 54 points off opponents' turnovers. What are you doing differently now from maybe a mindset or just to take better care of the football?
Yeah, I think just trust the process, and because we work on it, everybody does, and then in some years you just have years where it just doesn't bounce your way maybe. But you just don't stick your head in the stand, and it's a year that it's just not going to go our way. We just forge ahead, trust the drills that we're doing. We do them as a team. I mean, offense and defense together work on ball stripping the ball, starting the lawnmowers, a term that we use around here. And then defense, offensively, our 4 points of pressure, close the back door. The guys hear it, and we just keep working on it and trusting that, hey, eventually it's, I heard a Matt Campbell quote, you love the process and you trust it. Eventually the process loves you back. You just don't, but the problem is you just don't know when it's going to, and that's a great thing by Coach Campbell, who's a Toledo guy, and that's what we've done. We've trusted the process. You just don't know when it's going to love you back. And guess what? The month of November, we've gotten some love back, right? Pretty cool.
Coach, do you have an update on Coleman Owen and if he'll be available to go this weekend?
I think he's trending. I think we're going to be fine. It'll probably be game day. Today is Monday, so we're not out of the woods yet with what he's got. But yesterday's practice, he was in good spirits, and we're trending in the right direction. So we're certainly hopeful.
Any plans for Thanksgiving with the team?
Yeah, yes, we are. We got great plans. Let's see. Thursday, we're practicing mid-morning, and the players are going to be together having lunch here at the dining hall at Ohio University, and then we're going to Eclipse. So Thanksgiving Day is like Friday. So we do what we do. That's our Friday routine. So after practice, which is earlier, I know, but we're going to take the team we go to Eclipse. And we're going to have Thanksgiving meal together and then go to the movie and get in our routine. It's a noon kick. So it's going to be, wake up, And there's no Lucky Charms. It's gonna be your pregame. You're gonna be having there'll be some eggs there, some Lucky Charms, but you're gonna have your pasta and your chicken breast because that's the first meal of the day, and that's the one we're playing on. So we're gonna wake up and be ready to go.
Coach, to follow up with that, I just got to ask, what's your go-to Thanksgiving dish?
Oh man, great! The Albans are having our meal together as a family Wednesday evening. All right, and so usually I smoke a turkey. Tracy and I love the white meat. My daughter and my wife love the dark meat. All right, so I'm not going to be able to do a full turkey because of practice and things. So what I'm going to do a turkey breast and a prime rib. We love the prime rib for Christmas, so I'm combining those two. So Tracy and I can get some white meat turkey and traditional, and the girls are going to crush that prime rib, with the typical stuffing. All right, and the stuffing is, it's normal stuffing, nothing fancy. But celery, onions, bacon, mushrooms, with the right seasoning. Superb.
And speaking of Thanksgiving and being thankful, how thankful are you for the student athletes on your team that have dedicated their entire eligibility to this program and this university, and what can you say about them?
Great. That's a great question. And I really humbled Brooke and I are so humbled to be a part of this group. Every team's different. Every team's got a different journey, and the sacrifices that I know. There's a piece with Luke Steiner that we did earlier, and there's a handful of guys that have been here the whole time. I know Parker Titsworth is one of them. Christoph Atkinson, Roman, Jack, Jeremiah Wood, was kind of the focus. And those guys have been, have been great ambassadors of Ohio University. And I know there's opportunities for those guys to leave. I visited with, for sure, 3 of them, and it was pros and cons, and great dialogue, and they chose to stay, and they have made an impact on this team, and with all the new faces. Brooke and I could not be more proud of those guys, along with the ones that are here now. The turnover, the buy-in, the staff. I'm so thankful for this staff to help bring this collection of guys together that have bought into Ohio University and our academics, and Frank Solich Field and all the traditions that we've gotten here. It's been a lot to be thankful for.